41 and 18 roll with the complimentary plays, and I've got a free selection coming up in just a moment on the Big 12 game between West Virginia and Oklahoma. Last night, my best bet happened to be a raise the bar 20-dime release, number 30 out of 46 in college basketball, but more importantly, now a perfect 4-0 this season with those selections, and I cashed in with Colorado State getting the job done at home against Nevada. You got it as the half-price play of the day. Today, I happen to have a normal top-rated 15-dime release as I go for winning day number 5 out of 6, and it's going to be my AAC game of the month with SMU at South Florida. And if you're interested, you can get it again as the half-price play of the day by using coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. Pretty original, don't you think? Before I get to the complimentary play, let's have some fun on this day in history. If you were around in 1974, you turned on your AM radio most likely. You heard Ringo Starr dominating the U.S. pop charts. #1 song in the nation. And actually, back in those days on FM, you probably heard it too, being the ex-Beatle he was. What was that song? Unfortunately, it was You're 16. By the way, it wasn't actually an original song for Ringo. It was actually a remake of a song that reached the number 3 position on the UK charts back in 1960 by, nobody knows this, Johnny Burnett. So there you go. If you happen to be on Jeopardy, now you have the answer. Next up, Pink Floyd played their first gig ever on this date back in 1968 without Syd Barrett. Yep. Eddie Van Halen was, can't say that, huh? Eddie Van Halen was born on this day in 1955. Oh, this is a good one. Yes, this is a good one. Are you ready for this? The Dukes of Hazzard premiered on this day in 1979, and I am proud to say, I don't know how many episodes there were. I don't know how many years the series ran. I don't know how many reincarnations of the series there were, but I never watched one damn episode, and I'm proud to admit it. So I guess that means they're never going to give me a Confederate flag. They're never going to make me a Republican. And they're never going to admit me back into the South. And that's okay. Next, the Bears beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 20 at the Superdome, capping a 17-1 season. Think about that. We haven't even had the conference championship games the week before the Super Bowl or the game itself. And that damn season was already over. At that time, I was working for a national wire service. I was the NFL lead editor. And after the conference championship games, within a minute of the conference championship games being over, I used to immediately transmit the preview of the Super Bowl and with the point spread and the final predicted score. And that year, I came within a field goal of nailing the final predicted score for the Bears crushing the Patriots. And I sent it again about a minute after the conference championship games were over. And of course, I looked like a genius, but it wasn't that hard to pick the Bears. But coming within a field goal of the final margin, and my God, it was such a lengthy preview, I nailed everything. Of course, I was gambling back then too, and nobody knew it. But anyway, move on. Paul Newman, the actor, was born on this day in 1925. The famous general of the armed services, Douglas MacArthur, was born on this day in 1880. Michigan became the 26th state admitted to the Union in 1837. Absolutely no truth to the rumors that Donald Trump doesn't believe it and still wants Michigan expelled. Nope. On this date, in 1939, during the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona, the Republican capital of Spain, fell to the nationalist forces of General Francisco Franco. And by the way, Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. Now, for those of you out there that are witty and smart, you realize that's a throwback to Chevy Chase when he was at the peak of his popularity back on Saturday Night Live. Just saying. For those of you that have no clue what I'm talking about, Google Francisco Franco and Chevy Chase on YouTube, and you'll know. Okay, let's move on, and we go now to the complimentary play. Believe me, this complimentary play is so boring, I had to entertain you because it was boring me talking about this game. But it was the only game I could really come up with, so we move forward as my name disappears from the bottom of the screen. Did you like that? Okay, West Virginia is a -2 at home against Oklahoma. 500th game for Bob Huggins in his West Virginia career. West Virginia got off to a 13-2 start, but they've since lost 3 in a row. Now, they haven't been playing cupcakes. The Mountaineers lost to number 9, Kansas, on the road by 26. Lost to then number 5, Baylor, at home by 9. Lost to then number 18, Texas Tech, in Lubbock by 13. But they have won, the Mountaineers, 10 of their last 11 at home. Oklahoma, meanwhile, 12-3 start, have since lost 4 in a row. Again, haven't been playing cupcakes either. Lost to number 21, Texas, in Austin by 14. Lost to TCU by 1. That one's kind of questionable there. Lost to then number 7, Kansas, at home by 3. Lost to then number 5, Baylor, at home by 14 this past Saturday, a game in which they committed a season-high 25 turnovers. Now, that is the crux of my argument behind this particular selection. West Virginia is 25th in the nation in terms of turnover margin at plus 3.9 per game. They're 28th in the nation in terms of turnovers forced per game, 16.4. But that has always been the essence of any Bob Huggins coached team. Oklahoma, meanwhile, this is a team that is 340th in the nation in terms of turnover rate. I mean, again, they just committed 25 turnovers against Baylor. West Virginia is a little bit bigger team. The Sooners, unfortunately, in this particular analysis, are a little better offensive team. West Virginia really struggles to put points on the board. But I think playing at home, you've got a little bit of an advantage, obviously. Because you're going to bring the defensive intensity, that's the one thing you can count on. You can't handicap offense. You just can't. Teams are going to have off-shooting nights. But you can handicap and factor into the equation the defensive intensity and the fact that you're playing at home. So in this particular game, I'm going to go with West Virginia. I also think it's kind of interesting that, the SEC Big 12 Challenge begins on Saturday. West Virginia has a tough game coming up against Arkansas, but you've got Oklahoma with a game at number 1 Auburn. Not that either one of these teams in current losing streaks can afford to look ahead, but it is interesting to point that out. So I'm going to go with West Virginia minus the 2 points at home. Good luck, everybody, and talk to you again soon.